ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Writer's Block. Give it up for yourselves, please. Give it up, give it up, give it up. I appreciate y'all coming out tonight. Give me a second. Okay. Can y'all make sure y'all can see the mic on my camera? Am I good? Much better? Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yes, welcome to Writer's Block. Give it up again for y'all. Appreciate it. I hope my live video lasts a long time. Listen, this is a very, very important show. Thank y'all for coming out this early. We're going to do a little bit of talking real quick, of course. You know what I'm saying? So I do thank y'all for coming out. I thank God that the good Lord above took the rain away and started to make the sun shine. I was a little nervous at first, but thank you in regards to that. Yes, this is going live on Facebook, possibly on ESPN, CBS, all the media outlets. Shout out to my man Kevin Element Livingston, who is the founder and CEO of 100 Suits for 100 Men. Please look the brother up. He's a good friend of mine. He asked me to become Orlando's representative for what we are doing today. And that is meaning that we are standing in solidarity with Mr. Colin Kaepernick. So this does not mean, we speak negatively, anything of that nature. It's just like, almost like what solidarity means. It's like peacefully. So, everybody knows we got issues going on in our community. God knows how long our community, in regards to that. Hope y'all don't mind being photographed, things of that nature. Hope y'all can see the sign. Writer's Block and support. Okay?
All right.
So, we got a lot of newbies at the show tonight. So, for all my newbies, give it up for the newbies. Newbies, give yourself a round of applause. Writer's Block family, can y'all help us in regards to how we let the newbies know how we, welcome the next artist? Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Writer's Block.
Who's next?
Writer's Block.
Who's next?
Writer's Block.
Who's next?
Okay. When y'all hear that, y'all hit. When I y'all Writer's Block, y'all say who's next about 3 times. That means the next artist is coming up to spit, do their thing, sing, or do what have you. Listen, we got poets in the building. We got comedians, singers, guitarists. Do we have any MCs in the building? Nothing yet? Yeah. But listen, y'all know what's been going on in the brother stance in terms of, his taking a knee at every game and things of that nature, and it being like broadcasted everywhere. He's catching a lot of flack for it. Basically how this whole thing got started and situated was that he came by and dropped off about 50 suits to my boy Kevin's office. And in that regard, I guess they decided to partner up and do a partnership together and things of that nature. And my man Kevin calls me and was like, yo man, would you be down for doing this and standing in solidarity with him? Can you get people out? I said, absolutely. Thank you, Jesus. Y'all came and showed out in numbers, and I know more people are on the way. My feature ain't even here yet. So thank y'all. Give yourself a round of applause again. I really appreciate it. But this is cool, man. It's been a long journey for him as well. I agree with the brother, personally. I think he was okay. I have friends on both sides that did not like his stance. Some even thought maybe he should have chosen another way to show like his protest or solidarity or what have you in regards for the injustices done against our community. But however, I think I'm glad that he's done it because now this is bringing everything to the forefront and to the point where it's gotten so bad to the point my boy Kevin just told me last night he got death threats because it is ridiculous. He got death threats for supporting Colin Kaepernick in terms of what he's in terms of what he's doing. So they asked us, do like our regular thing, the regular show for everybody to speak and say something, but not anything that's going to, we're going to have to ask everybody not to say something that could be like going overboard, because that could push things in the wrong direction. If you know what I'm saying. So trust me. I mean, you know how some of us are. You want to wear your Black Panther T-shirts and fight the power and everything like that. But at least for this, they just ask for us to chill on that for just a second and to speak, in a manner that can get the point across, but absolutely not alienate anybody and make the situation any worse than it is. So this is going on all across the country. This is Miami. Then we got Milwaukee, Houston, back home in New York, Vegas, a couple of spots all across the country. So everybody's broadcasting their live things of that nature. So can we get some thoughts? What do y'all think about his situation? And not just that, what are y'all thoughts about the police brutality in terms of what's going on in our communities? Let's start specifically with, what do you think the police can do better? Let me rephrase that, because I don't want to put all police officers in the same category, because we all know not all police officers are bad. It's unfortunately that the ones that are doing bad things are not getting the negative light is being shown upon them. Speaking of which, the officer, did y'all hear about the officer who shot the young man in Oklahoma? Y'all know she got off, right? Yeah, she got off for that. So unfortunately, we have another family that has to deal with the loss of a family member. Yeah, it's straight. I don't agree with it. Listen, I have people who are vehemently arguing about, why can't we do things such things better? Why can't we act better? Why can't we act right? And things of that nature. And let me just put myself out there on Front Street, for instance. Anybody in here know what it's like to be followed in a store?
I was just walking and had two people in front of me, and then they just kind of
They
just kind of went off for a second till I passed them to keep walking. I said, they thought I was following them. I'm wearing dress shoes with a sports coat. Yeah, he about to rob me. Like, exactly, because it has nothing to do with what your status is. I mean, like you said, everybody knows that all the police officers aren't bad. And then people need to understand that on the flip side. Not all of any group is bad. And people don't really take to heart what that means. Especially when you have, just to call our own people out, because that's one thing you don't get a lot of. You don't get a lot of people calling out their own team members when they slip, and that's how you end up with a president who everyone knows was bad, but people still voted for, because it came down to where we're going to support our people whether he's right or wrong. One thing that that I've seen that we do is we refer, when we talk about issues, we'll say white people. And we know better. I mean, we know better. Everybody knows better that not all white people are bad. But one thing I think everybody needs to come to terms with is the fact that not all white people are bad, and we know that. But then we need all the good white people to come to terms with the fact that the good white people aren't the ones with the power. Because if they were, we wouldn't be here. No one would be here if the good people would want the power. Right. And when people do all that, talking about how can we feel, why can't we act better? It's like, I understand that, and that is a huge issue. But that's an in-house issue, and that's for us to fix. But the way that black people treat black people has nothing to do with the way other people treat black people. So the entire idea of black on black crime was nothing but a distraction to try and make other people feel bad, feel a particular way. Just because a couple's arguing and a girl's yelling at her boyfriend doesn't mean you get to yell at him too. The way someone treats somebody doesn't change the way you have to act, and we have to hold everybody with the utmost respect under all circumstances, regardless of how other people treat them or how they treat themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we say that everybody in here is pretty much in agreement with what the brother's doing?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Because I know they've asked for us to speak about this. So I know one thing that police officers used to do when I was a kid and I don't know why they really stopped doing it. You know, they actually took the time to actually, what they call back in the day, walk the beat. You know what I'm saying? So you had the officers that were in the community, and they had established, right, they established relationships with people in the community. So, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, like, I'm from Jacksonville, and they could, as far as I don't really know, because I don't stay in those particular areas here in Orlando, so I don't know what they're doing to do outreach and whatnot. But I know in Jacksonville, they used to have like the whole neighborhood watch system. You know what I mean? They used to be part of community involvement and the different meetings that they would have and stuff like that. There was a group called the Better Living Association in Jacksonville that police would become a part of in those particular communities. And not even that, just growing up, like you said, as a kid, you would see them. So in Jacksonville, they have the Police Athletic League, which is a PAL system where kids can be involved, and you have police coaching kids and things like that. So there's a mentorship kind of a thing going on there as well. And I don't necessarily see that effect here in Orlando.
One thing that I will say, I definitely agree with that, and I was going to bring that up, is so for example, I'm part of a nonprofit organization, and one of the things that we do is on Saturdays, we bring police officers to tutor kids K through 12. So it's just a safe space where police officers come in and they get to see the students. But I think it's really important to humanize the officers, you know, and using what can they do is to just get to know the community that they're a part of and get to know their stories on an individual basis, and not just per numbers, not just by how many gangs are in that area or how many, but to get to know these kids' individual stories. I think that it might change their minds a little bit. It might make them think twice before they pull that trigger when they remember that kid that they were just sitting with on Saturday, that they were tutoring or, you know, playing around with and laughing. So I think it's really important to have a police force that represents our communities by numbers too. I think we're also seeing like police departments that don't represent the community. Like if you have like a predominantly black community, but you have a predominantly white police force, it's not really represent like our voices are really being heard in those areas.
If you feel like you need a police officer that understands the culture, the lingo.
You don't. I think you don't need to understand, but just have a respect for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to understand my entire history to know that you shouldn't shoot me. But you should understand my humanity enough to know that I have a mother and a father who wanted me to come home tonight, so that you shouldn't shoot me. So I think it's just really getting police officers to understand the humanity of the people that they're working with.
Okay. Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, also, just similar to his point it was making, he mentioned black on black crime, which really isn't a thing. It's like citizen on citizen crime, right? And so the issue that people have with police involved shooting is that we have a trust in the police. Like, I don't necessarily trust that my citizen is going to have my best interest in mind, but police are supposed to protect and serve. So that's what the issue is. And that's why the issue of like citizen on citizen crime is irrelevant to that. Because with the police, we expect that they're there to protect us, and the public has a trust in them. And when that trust is violated, yeah, that's a big problem, and it's separate from any other issues related to crime or violence in our community. And yes, those exist, and yes, those are problematic, but they're two separate issues. And so the issues of a police-involved shooting or excessive use of force is a problem because we're supposed to trust that they'll protect us and not harm us. And when that doesn't happen, that's an issue. And I would say also, like sort of similar to what she was saying, that, you know, there's a need for tactics to de-escalate a situation rather than just to pull a weapon. And I have an education background, so I think about when I'm in the classroom and there are issues, I de-escalate. So if I see that something is about to erupt into a fight or a conflict with a student, I take steps to de-escalate that situation so that no one is harmed or expelled or whatever, and we can solve the problem there without it becoming any bigger. And I don't think that training takes place for law enforcement officers. That they're not. I don't know that de-escalation is their primary go-to. Like the de-escalation in their mind is that, well, that person is a threat and I have to take out the threat. But there's not a sense that there's a situation that we can solve. I think about social workers who go into the same communities that law enforcement are in, dealing with many of the same people, and they de-escalate in those situations so that it doesn't become something that's out of hand. And I don't know that that is there.
Okay, my brother, you have something to say?
Yeah, we're going to talk on black crime. So outside of police brutality, it is not a thing. Like, this is absolutely not a thing. White people commit white on white crime at a 6% less rate. They commit it just like we do. The whole idea behind crime and physical altercations is that it's more likely to happen to someone who's close to you. If she's right there, I'm more likely to hit her than the guy who lives in Massachusetts. Why? Because she's closer to me. Naturally, we congregate together, black people live together, so naturally if I'm going to commit a crime, it's going to be with someone who's closer to me. I can't do it to someone who is not there, right, or someone who does not exist. So the whole idea is fallacious. And then you've never heard any term, you've never heard Asian on Asian crime, never heard brown on brown crime, never heard Latino on Latino crime, never heard white on white crime, because the numbers are almost exactly the same. This is just a BS argument that they use to demonize us. And I think the issue with the police is they have a lack of cultural competence and cultural understanding. They have no idea who we are, and they don't understand us at all. They don't have any interaction with us, they don't have any exposure, and that's the problem. When they come to our communities, they expect us to be dark-skinned white people, which we are not. We are very different. We respond to scares different, we respond with happiness different. Just everything is just different, and they don't get that, and that's the problem. They expect when they see any of us, for us to engage with them the way a white person was, and we are completely different. So I think if we give them the cultural competence, the understanding that we are very much different, then we get rid of that fear that they have of us. Because you naturally fear things that you don't understand or you're not involved with. So if we give those and we pair with the de-escalation, then we should be able to get somewhere. But when you say all police aren't bad, I agree, all police people aren't bad. But policing as a system is wrong. Anything that can support someone murdering someone is wrong. Anyone who watches someone murder someone and doesn't speak up is wrong. So if you're complicit in the murder, then you are wrong. If you don't fight back and push back, you are wrong. So police chiefs, anyone else who has someone who's dirty in their department or knows of someone who's dirty in their department is a bad cop and is a bad person. And if the system supports that, if the Orlando Police Department supports a cop murdering somebody, then your Orlando Police Department as a whole is bad and wrong.
Yeah, the thing there too is that whole idea of people don't check their teammates when they act a fool. And the problem is that, like, we, because of the system of power, we're not allowed to fight with the police, and not even to say to go out fist fighting them. But we're not supposed to be against the police, and then when they're in a situation where they're not doing what they should, it becomes difficult because we get looked at bad for fighting them. And then the system again upholds these negative actions and these negative beliefs that if people within the system fight to change it, you can start to show some progress. It becomes important that it's not our job to change the way police are because we can only do so much. That falls on them. It's the idea of, like, you can't be silently complacent with oppression. You know, which in my opinion, and I know is an opinion other people share too, it's the idea that, like, the entire All Lives Matter movement was really bogus because all it did was silence movements that were trying to call out the inequality that we're dealing with. But what it did was it allowed people to feel comfortable and feel like they were doing something. It allowed them to feel comfortable doing nothing. And people have to understand that in issues like these, there is no middle ground. You either have to fight the oppression or be a part of it, actively or passively. And when people understand that, it starts to make sense why, though all police are not bad, you have to understand people's issue with the system. And if you are part of the system and you sit idly by, you have to understand that you are part of the problem. So that you will either get up and change it, or get out of the way, you know? And you have a lot of people that get so offended when things like this get talked about because they don't want to be part of the problem, but they also don't want to fix it. And they want to be able to be complacent.
Well, I would say, and I know you had something to say, right? Somebody back here was raising their hand.
I did, I lost my thought. Ooh, my bad.
Let me add, because I do know that some people think that because if you don't talk about the problem, it'll eventually fix itself, and it's not like that at all. It's not like anything. I mean, there's only one thing that I know that can fix itself, if I know of anything at all. But I've heard that argument before. Well, why don't we just not talk about it, and maybe it'll just blow over and stuff like that. And that's never the case. If anything, it gets not swept under the rug. It just gets pushed aside until the temperature builds back up again. And then the reason why everybody gets so upset about these particular issues, like Eric Garner and the brother that got shot, was it down in Miami for helping out the patient, and the cop, he asked the cop why did he shoot him, and he was like, I don't know. That's not a good excuse to shoot somebody. That's. Somebody said earlier, I think people have a preconceived judgment about minorities, whether it be black, Asian, or Indian, or things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Or Muslim, where they think, because you get on a plane with a Muslim, with a person that's worships Islam, they think, they're going to blow up the plane. Or something like that, or they're going. You were just telling me about that last night, right? Can you explain to everybody what you told me last night?
Well, for me, I was in 3rd grade when 9/11 happened, and I'll forever vividly remember that. And just the next week, within 5 days, I had to go to St. Louis for my cousin's wedding. And I lived in Orlando at the time, and I remember being just as terrified as everybody. My cousin even was telling me, he was like, be careful on the plane. It's like, I hope you don't crash into a building. That would be really sad. My cousin a year younger than me and 8 years old telling me that stuff. So that's the kind of mess I went into that plane. I remember being terrified, having 3 hours through security and all that nonsense. We get into our seat, and I didn't think anything of it as a child, but looking back, I remember all the people, as soon as we got on the plane, sharp intakes of breath, looking, clutching their purses, starting to say their prayers. I didn't think anything of it at the time, but then I was like, oh, they're looking at us. Okay, so that's happening. It wasn't until later that I realized how much worse it got. In my 7th grade, that was 2005, 2006, that summer or whenever, we're flying to LA. My mom and I flying to LA. I had the genius idea of I wanted to go to Temple before we flew back from LAX to Orlando. I wore Indian clothes. Got told I got to get stopped and pulled aside into a separate line into a closed room, stopped in, and randomly checked for like an hour and a half. We nearly missed our flight. My mom was yelling, was like, "Why did you wear all that crap? You didn't need to wear any of that." And I never thought about it. That was my first time getting properly randomly checked. Now, anytime I fly, especially if going international, like even going to India the past summer, I get randomly stopped at NYC. I even had the funniest thing is when I went to New York, when I went through New York this past summer, the guy searching me was also an Indian guy, and he was Indian. I think he was North Indian or Pakistani, and he's like, "Sorry, you know what I got to do." Wow. And, yeah.
So how do you think we like kind of fix some of these issues? And what do you think we should, I'm not going to say necessarily demand, but at least make emphasis or put emphasis on?
The issue is the fact that they're protected by the law.
Yeah.
For instance, if a cop simply says, I felt threatened, it's immediately he can go to the last line of defense for a police officer. Within other countries, let's say like the UK, they have different levels of officers. You have your standard civilian officer that doesn't carry a firearm. He just walks around and he helps people. He serves. Second line, there's cops that are armed. So when things get out of hand, those cops are then called into action, and they're trained to handle those type of situations. The big problem is that you have, for instance, I don't know if you guys ever look at badges on a cop. I get stopped a lot, so you'll see that they have a little star, a little like plaque that says distinguished. That's an officer that has actually passed the test. So basically what that is they'll have a bunch of people in a room and they'll like pull out something random. It might be a gun, it might be a banana. He's got to know, when do I shoot, when do I withhold? And very few officers actually hold that title of being a distinguished officer. So you have a bunch of unequipped, untrained officers who tend to come from like a military background, and I'm not downing our military at all. I have great respect for the military. My cousin has served, my godfather has served in the Navy SEALs, so I respect the military, but at the same time, Navy SEALs are trained to shoot your hands, not your body. So there's a big difference between how they even go into war. They're not trained to kill. They're trained to stop and subdue to that extent. So you have a bunch of cops who walk around, number one, without carrying tasers. So if I go out to protect and serve, how am I protecting and serving if I don't even carry a taser? If I'm dual-wielding pistols and someone comes at me with a knife, my intention is to kill. If you go out of your home as a police officer carrying 2 guns, in my mind, I'm sorry, you're not a good police officer. You've gone out with every intent to kill, because you're given multiple levels of self-defense, right? You have pepper spray, you have a taser, you've got a baton, you've got your fists, and then as a last resort, you have your firearm. How many people are being shot first? And that's like the biggest problem. Like when the guy was laying on the floor next to that guy, why didn't he use his taser? Where was his taser? Why didn't he subdue the man in that manner? Why didn't he run up and jump on him or something? It's like they lack training, number one. So you have a bunch of police officers who are my height, 300 pounds, and the first thing they're going to do is, I can't catch them, I can't fight them, so I'm just going to shoot them. So when they are approached by black men, of course, with the stereotypes and the things that they're trained to believe about us, the first thing that they're going to do is, I was defending myself from an aggressive black man. And I've seen both sides of the badge. I've been walking home. I went to a private school my whole life. I was wearing my private school shirt, Central Florida Christian Academy on it, khaki pants, black shoes, tucked in, belt showing. I was walking home and there was a murder up the street. Cop car, the Jeep, actually like hops a curb. He hops out of his car, tackles me, pushes me up against the car, strips my clothes off, starts taking my shirt off. He's looking for tattoos. The police captain pulls up, all these other cops pull up, and he looked at the man and he's like, what are you doing? The man we're looking for is 6'8". And they were like, he's not even the same complexion. This is a kid. What are you doing? And he was like, well, I assumed, he may, have something or something like that. And I'm like, that's what I've experienced a lot of my life. But on the other hand, I've experienced this cop. I'm going to say his name because, he deserves it. His name was Sebastian Diana. He passed away. I remember I used to walk to school a lot, and his kids went to my school, and every morning he would drive by my house around the time I would walk out to go to school, and if I was walking, he would pick me up, take me to school, take me home, but not to my house, his home after school. He would let me sit with his family, he would feed me, he would let me hang out with his kids. He took me everywhere with him, as if I was an extension of his family. And so I've seen both sides. And it's so hard because it's like, there are good police officers who go out with the intention to truly protect and to serve. But at the same time, just like stereotypes, it's just that they allow so many other people to come in. And those people, for instance, you have a lot of cops who are, mentally just, kind of not right. And you'll hear them say that, this cop has a long rap sheet himself. And I'm just like, why is that a cop? How did you allow this person to be a cop? Right. And another big issue is that within our community, we're trained to dislike police. The only way that we're going to ever make a change is if black men become police officers. And I think that's another big issue. Like, you know, we grew up F12. You know, it's like you're not supposed to like cops. Cops are the worst thing ever. But if we want to make change within our communities, if we want to make change within the police force, we have to be that change. And there's not enough black officers. And I remember, I'm trying to remember where it was. I'm sorry, but they basically like, it was like, what city was it where they had it was like way more white cops. And then after the crime happened, after someone got shot, a whole bunch of black people went out and became cops. And I think that that's
Dallas.
In Dallas, yeah. So that's a big issue within itself. They're not going to be trained until someone teaches them. So.
I just wanted to, so my degree is in public administration, and so we study a lot about like the history of how, you know, basically a lot of things in public service came to be. And one of the biggest things that I learned was that police, the idea of policing was never created to protect us. It was created to hunt us.
Catch runaway slaves.
Yeah. And so we've really got to start, like you said, inserting ourselves into a part of that system, because it's always going to be them against us if we don't have police forces that look like our communities.
One more comment, then we officially got to get into some poetry.
I think, I don't know if it would really help if we become police officers and we become in that system. And that system is bigger than us. And I don't think we would help by becoming police officers. I think policing should start in the community, like being a police, community police. Like back in the day, you know, my grandma, granddaddy, neighbors, everybody police the community, you know, and also I think police officers need to be evaluated on a regular, like how they do soldiers, because when you're dealing with, you gotta look at both sides. When you're dealing with foolishness every day, when you're dealing with these certain groups of people that are just, because some of us can be a mess out in these streets. Like we can be a mess and on each both sides, but when you're dealing with that on a day-to-day basis, constantly over and over, dealing with a lot of foolishness and a lot of irate, a lot of stuff that don't make sense, that don't need to make sense, because they go through a lot, you know. But when you're dealing with it all the time, it becomes embedded in your head. Then naturally, when you see someone that looks like that, what you deal with everything, you're gonna kind of treat them,
right,
everybody the same, because you're used to, it's in your head, you're used to doing that. It's sort of like a reflex type thing. And so I think they need to be evaluated on a regular basis to get their minds, you know, it needs to be some sort of evaluation with police officers, because they need to be evaluated because they kind of lost it somewhere. And these days, you know, the younger people, even by me being in the education system now, and I see like even children are not the same like they used to be. So I can imagine the people on the streets are not the same like they used to be in the 90s and you know, before it got worse. And it's just a lot in that whole mix. But I just think that we need to start policing our children, our communities, our neighborhoods. We as an individual, like a village, like we need to go back to the village.
Be in the village? Yeah.
We need to go back to being a village, and we need to go back to the Most High and get our spirit and our minds cleansed and discernment, so that we can know how to discern things and know how to intervene on things the wise way. You know, that's what I think.
Amen. I hear that. Hold on. Let me come right back to you, bro. Let me come right back to you, because I actually got to get everything. I got to get everything started. But what we're going to do is continue discussion. So hold your thought. You got to write it down, Hold your thought. We're going to get everything started, because we got people here. Thank y'all again for showing out. We're going to continue with that. Can y'all see me on the camera right there?
Yeah.
It's good? Okay.
Yeah.
If y'all can, please stay as long as possible. We do need to get a group photo. They asked me to do a group photo as well, so I can send to them and everything. So we're going to do that, be part of the press kit and everything. So again, thank y'all for coming out. Give yourself again a round of applause. So, is there anybody here that has not signed the list that would like to sign the list? Sean, you gonna rock me next?
Yes.
Okay.
I gotta leave soon.
Okay.
I'll stay as long as I can. Man.
Yeah, no problem.
I want to support, man.
I got you. So again, as we stated before, we got the newbies in the building. We got to do it again. So this is how we officially get the show started. In terms of the talent portion, well, talent always, the poetry, we got some poets, we got some singers, we got some musicians, we got the babies in here, you know what I'm saying? So that's no doubt. That's all right, because Sean brings his kids to his show sometimes, so it's all right. And you got two great kids right there, man. They was two of the quietest kids in the open mic you will ever see. So trust me. But y'all still with me? Y'all rocking?
Yeah.
All right, you get some claps. Yeah, you know, here we clap. We don't snap unless somebody said a dope line that's like, yo, rewind that back. That was dope. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it started again. And while we doing that, Stacy, everybody else know, I need y'all to think of an idea for the gumbo poem for this week. We didn't do the gumbo poem last week. No, we did not. We didn't do the gumbo poem last week. So, Tasha, make sure you come up with a subject for me, Mama. You the birthday girl. Also, so you know what? I think being going along with what we're talking about, I'm gonna do one of Tasha's favorite poems. In the poem I did last night, if y'all saw me at Diverse Word, and I think it's only fitting that we do this poem. So, during slavery. First of all, let's do this. Right? I gotta bring myself up correctly. Hold on. I forget I'm the host of the show. I forget that. All right. Riders Block.
Who's next?
Riders Block.
Who's next?
Riders Block.
Who's next?
It'll be the young boy head handsome brother of the host of the show. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Get that Barbasol. Yeah. I use Barbasol and Dick Shave. Shameless commercial. I want my money if y'all decide to use me in a commercial. All right, not for real. I'll be the first poet just to break the ice because I know most poets don't like going first, but that's cool. And then, you know, we're going to keep the show rocking. We're going to have some fun. You know, we like me to do the slave poem a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. What we do, there's an old Negro spiritual called Follow the Drinking Gourd. And basically what a drinking gourd was, like during slavery, our ancestors used what's called a drinking gourd. This was a big spoon they used to cook our food. So what they said, they would say, follow the drinking gourd. What that meant to the Big Dipper was in the shape of a drinking gourd. And that meant to follow the Big Dipper along the Underground Railroad to the next Underground Railroad station along up north to freedom. So, but I reworded it to fit this poem, and let's go. I gotta do this right. No, I'm not stripping. This is not chicken balls. Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. Come follow me to freedom. I was born and raised on my master's Virginia plantation. In a nation where I was seen as being only 3/5 of God's greatest creation. I can't believe it that we let a 3/5 compromise determine our height of equality in a society where our demise was the only thing else that we could achieve in my eyes. My whole life I was made to feel inferior by my so-called superior who believed that since the day of my birth that $300 of slave work was the only thing that I was worth. I did 20 years of the original hard labor for a family who thought that just because they gave me a place to live and scraps to eat, that I'm the one to owe them a favor. I spent most of my time with my parents in the field picking cotton and corn. I even had to watch the overseer slice my mother's stomach over there. That's how my little brother was born. I watched my mother go through so much pain and suffering. My master would constantly beat her. And when he raped her, he violated her more by filling on her breast like they were pillows wrapped in cases of silk, constantly contradicting himself by calling us animals and savages, but yet he let his children receive nourishment from my mother's breast milk. See, my father was beating and beating to make him feel even less than a man, and even though he helped build his country with his own bare hands, they lynched him and burned him and said the same thing would happen to me if I defied America and the republic with which it stands. I saw friends and family be put on auction blocks, be bought and sold, both young and old. My mother, my sister, my aunt, and cousins. Master said they were all individually weak, so in order for him to make more money, slaves were sold by the dozens. Slave after slave tried running away. And each and every master was the ultimate way for them to misbehave. So our punishment was having our backs filled with bullet after bullet. And when I was in the field, and I disobeyed my master, I was whipped into submission until I finally gave in. Yes, master! Yes, master! Yes, master! If you don't believe me, well, I have the welts on my back to prove it. Finally, I decided that I wanted out. The only thing was that I wasn't sure how our plan was going to come about. Then I remember this song called Follow the Drinking Gourd. So we decided to try the Underground Railroad and get on board, and we didn't worry about our path being forward because we knew that our plans being drawn by the hands of the Lord. See, I escaped slavery, made it to freedom just fine, and I'm up in heaven looking down on my offspring, and I still see the prisoners and the slavery of mine. See, I'm talking to all of my offspring. Negro, Caucasian, Latino, and Asian. You talk about causing a revolution, but instead you contribute to what's called the revolution, meaning that you help contribute to the problems and you should be coming up with a solution. I see my line of sons dying one by one on the streets becoming criminals, thinking the only education you need are the blocks from the school of hard knocks so you get a degree in criminology because you made them the street pharmaceuticals. Too busy ranting about this and that, using your guns as the boys. I wasn't allowed to read and write because it was against the law. You can't read and write because that is your choice. Remember before, when I was talking about causing a revolution, you're already doing to each other what my master did to me. You're just too caught up in your own negativity to recognize the powers that be. So when you finally decide to overcome what it is that you suffer from, follow that drinking gourd and come follow me to your freedom. Y'all all right, people?
Yeah.
I know it's heavy. I know we've been a heavy subject, but look, we have a good time up here that morning.
All right.
So trust me, I mean, you know, we have the music going on up here, stuff like that. We love old school music. Again, I want to shout out my boy Fletch this Sunday. He's doing Essence of the Soul at Cleopatra Hookah Lounge. So definitely check him out and ask for more information on that. It's my girl Natasha's birthday today, so they'll be celebrating that up there. Also, every Tuesday is Diverse Word at Dandelion Community Cafe, hosted by the next brother I'm about to call up to the mic. You know what I'm saying? He does that from 7:30 to 10 o'clock every Tuesday. It's packed, it's free, and it's outside. So we get that. Poetry outside. It's real nice outside. You know what I'm saying? Good date night. Fellas hint. Good date night. Good food. Good people. That's a good package right there. I ain't saying nothing gonna happen when you go home with your lady. I'm just saying it's a good package right there. So, anyway, with that being said, without further ado, Riders Blood? Who's next? Riders Blood? Who's next? Riders Blood? Who's next? Give it up for the host of Diverse Word at Dandelion Community Cafe, Mr. Sean Welcome. Keep clapping to get his kid straight. Keep clapping to get his kid straight. That's all right.
Training boards up, man. Glad to be here. Going in the same vein of social justice, right? There are more slaves today than at any time in human history, and so I hope this story that I tell will color that and hopefully make us aware of that situation. All right. So this piece is called Orange Blossoms. Orange blossoms are white. Its floral, creamy creamy citrus scent is said to alleviate stress and depression. They blossom alongside oranges, hence the name. Honeybees buzz around the aroma and extract the goods, the symbolism of purity, innocence, and fertility. Influenced Queen Victoria to rock a wreath of what would become Florida's state flower on her wedding day. Florida named a state road after that which once wafted of orange blossoms. Time tipped the scale. OBT, the acronym for orange blossom trail. Ironic. The iconic road now known for bodies for sale, but Queen Victoria ain't from Panama City, Florida. She didn't watch her older 6-year-old brother Joshua drown in a pond, helpless, no breathing room to recover when your mother beats you senseless for molestation accusations. He was supposed to be my grandfather. I'm talking about Kim. We sat down on the patio of a Starbucks and she told me everything. How she didn't know there was a hole in her bedroom till she saw one blue eye pierce the drywall. Peeping turned feeling turned penetration around age 10 to trauma. Ghost daddy, zombie mama, when the monster suddenly stopped breathing and dropped in front of her. She didn't die on 9/11. Because when the grief of death and the scent of freedom cancel each other out, all you can do is stand there, smile, and inhale the lingering allure of orange blossoms. Move in with mama's brother and his wife with the knife in her soul only deepened and expanded the hole. He was supposed to be my uncle, the trauma. Ghost daddy, zombie mama, the rebellion begins. A violent tornado of sin is in the forecast. Door locked in the cellar, fresh out of jail. Kim now 17 with a baby from a stranger and a banging body bumps into a man with a full glass of refreshing language. Filled her bowl of anguish. Cadillac escalated her self-esteem and she could breathe again. I took another sip of my now lukewarm, customary medium white mocha as the traffic wind washed away our unwashed conversation. She continues. After the 3-week whining and dining was over, he told me we was going on vacation to Tampa in the Carolinas, but I didn't know it was going to be the last time I see my daughter. The stripping and the sexing was all meant to meet his quote, and I ain't making my first time, but he put his hand on my right thigh, said something I ain't never heard before, said, "I'm proud of you." You don't know what that do to a little girl who ain't come from nothing, but they hurt you so bad with cords and fists and body parts and death threats. The list goes on till you brainwash, bleach, clean, and making as much as me, $3,500 to $5,000 daily for years. But the money just passed from my hand to his. I aspired to be a bottom B, which meant you get to drive your own car. Pick up your own tricks in peace, but honestly, Sean, it wasn't nothing more than an extension on a leash. I was sold FOMO times because this little smart alecky hood mouth of mine, I kept getting in trouble. And that last one, he made me stand upside down, hands facing the ground, with my feet bracing up against the wall for about an hour till the blood rushed down, dripped up to my forehead. And if my arms got tired or fall, he'll kick me in the face, let the camera roll, put it on YouTube. It was like the man had no soul. Next day, the mother girls are laughing at me. I just wanted to go back to jail. It seemed so safe there. My empty Starbucks cup rattled with the whistling of the wind as if to call time out. When will it end? In Miami, in Atlanta, our neighbors to the west, Tampa. She told me her last pimp mistakenly kicked her out of his whip just 35 miles from Panama City, where the first one picked her up from. 7 years in the belly of a fish spit out onto dry land, baked by the sun, with roads recognizable. All she could do was run for the powerless, run for Joshua. Run. It was a 60-yard dash. Chariot with no horseman, sprint to freedom, had the tattoo of his name removed to lose the branding. Pimps pimping the system in addition to who they deem whores. You see, black men don't like to be called slave owners. Seems like nobody does these days. Embracing the paradox will lead to lost profits. They hunting for new prospects. Idol worship to the penny and dead presidents. The U.S. Treasury said that Tubman will be the new face on a 20 in 2020 to add to billfolds, but I hate to think of Benjamin's and Harriet's face littering the bottom of strip poles. Maybe it's her way of still rescuing the slaves there. Underground, where Kim once lived. Until now, I retracted the basket woven metal chair from our patio table to part ways, not before she had a chance to say she reunited with her baby girl. Then 7 with chocolate drop curls, but thoughts still random like Sean. How I explain she was accidentally abandoned. I just want to be a good mom. Never worked on a trail in Orlando, but my heart aches long for them girls there. I'd love to just like reach out to them and let them know there's hope. Like you can get out, you know? Why else would God leave me alive? Feel like it's part of my calling or something. Better listen to that inner tiger. I'm proud of you, Kim, and all of you other survivors. Rusted shackles break loose at the smell of citrus. The power declare freedom in every state in honor of all of our state flowers.
Man, it's always a tough piece to hear. Listen, real quick, I'm sure he'll tell you that's actually based on a true story. Am I right? Yeah, it's actually based on a true story. So, most definitely, give it up again for Mr. Sean Velgo. Again, he hosts Diverse Word at Dandelion Community Cafe. That's at 618 North Thornton Avenue, downtown. Right off of Colonial. So definitely hook up with them again, 7:30 to 10 o'clock every Tuesday. The longest, I think it was the longest running open mic in Orlando?
Since 2006.
2006?
Hey.
That's 2006, all right. Listen. Here's what we're going to do. You ready to rock?
Yeah.
You ready to rock? Yeah. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull up one more artist, and then we're going to pull up our feature. I want to make sure he gets in on time. You know what I'm saying? So I got to get him on time, all right? All right, I'm going to let my girl rock here real quick, then we're going to... you know what? Let's get on some new blood. Can we get some new blood up in here? That's cool with y'all? That's cool with y'all? Yeah. All right. So we're going to do this, and we call it our feature. You're going to do about 4 pieces, then we're going to finish off the night. Continue, like I said, stay as long as you can, please. I need a group photo so I can send them my mans and them, so that we can get this on the media outlets and stuff like that. Thank y'all so much for showing up for me, like for real. I don't know how much this really means to me, like for real.
Brought my shirt and everything, son. Brought my shirt and everything.
All right, we got a newbie in the building. We got a new family in the building. So, Writer's Block.
Who's next?
Writer's Block.
Who's next?
Writer's Block.
Who's next?
It's Sabrina Redmond. You ready to ride?
All right.
I want to make sure the newbies get on, the new family members get on for the feature. Y'all keep clapping, make her feel like family and welcome. Yeah, everybody come this way, because I don't want none of y'all tripping on this cord. We've had somebody had a few accidents a couple of times, and yeah, it ain't end too pretty on the way to the floor. So yeah, just be careful, all right? You ready? You can use whatever you need, bro. Actually, you can use my chair. Yeah.
Hi. Hey, are you a photographer now?
What?
I was like, to be a photographer for this.
Difference.
Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so I'm Sabrina. I'm going to be doing an original song because I didn't know if I was allowed to sing tonight, so I was like, well, songwriting's kind of like poetry, so. This is about personal experience and kind of getting something that you really want, you work super hard for, and then losing it. And it was a pretty hard time in my life this past year, and so I wrote a song about it, and it's called Still I Stand. I haven't played it in a long time, so I wrote this. I'm sorry. I've been down so many roads, trying to find the place I can call home. I thought that I'd lead through all these wars, lost myself, lost the world that kept me hanging on to something gone. When demons start to fight inside my head, and the walls are closing in on me, I pull myself away from it all. Isolation and denial, and everything I love is hanging by a thread. 'Cause I'm scared and I'm torn. Don't wanna leave, don't wanna say goodbye. And the choice is pulling me apart, bringing me and leaving me out to dry. I'm broken inside, but still I stand. Still I stand. So what do you do when there ain't nothing you can do? And how do you tell the ones you love you can't? And what do you see when there's nothing left? What can you make out of empty promises? How do you change what you don't even understand? 'Cause I'm scared and I'm torn. Don't wanna leave, don't wanna say goodbye. And the choice is pulling me apart, bringing me and leaving me out to dry. I'm broken inside, but still I stay. And I'm playing along, thinking I'm happy and strong, but everything feels so wrong. My world's falling apart, I'm watching it shatter. My heart is breaking, but I've gotta keep holding on. 'Cause I'm scared and I'm torn. Don't wanna leave, don't wanna say goodbye. And the choice is pulling me apart. I'm scared and I'm torn. Don't wanna leave, don't wanna say goodbye. And the choice is Still I stand.
Is it the bathroom? Oh, you sure it was up? Okay. Listen, everybody's gonna get the chance to spit. Don't worry about it. He's gonna do four songs or poems. But don't worry about it. Y'all gonna get on. Y'all hanging with me?
Yeah.
Y'all all right?
Yeah.
Y'all good?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank
All
you
right.
for checking, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta get that check on. Y'all give me 1 second. What you trying to get on now, mama?
I was gonna go up there and write something right about that.
Come on. Come on, we wanna make sure you. Look at that. She said she wasn't gonna go tonight. We inspired her. That's what happened. Lit that fire. All right. Listen, I gotta do a little something different there. Y'all know I always bring up music when we do the feature, but we got a little something. We got a little issue here. So, they the spot kind of came under fire. Apparently, they get people calling them when we have like a video or anybody playing somebody else's music, anything like that. So if they're not really stressing it right now, so they're not really enforcing it on me. So they say, but I won't say so they say. They just let me know that they're not gonna really enforce it on me. But what's happening is that they're getting calls like, if you don't stop playing an artist's music, we're gonna find you. So I gotta be real. It's really I don't know, but you know, they actually got people that will go around. Now, from what I understand, they got people that go around to different venues and they find out that you.
That's a job.
That's a job now. If you're recording somebody else's, so I'm just saying, it's like, be careful. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome. All right.
Keep in mind that girl, you have this live on Facebook, so no one's snitching. This is live on Facebook. So
Yeah, that's what they're saying, because I have it live on Facebook. Yeah. But even though on Facebook, I put on I don't own the rights to such and such song by, but here's what I'm gonna need y'all to do. My man ready to rock. He's gonna do about 4 pieces. Y'all ready? Yeah. What y'all pieces? Yeah. Start popping them up right now. Look at the energy. Look at the energy. All the way. Johnny Clark. Let's get ready to rumble. Who got his block? Who got his block? Who got his block? Part of what y'all came to see, all the way from Decatur, Illinois, traveling poet. He gonna do some poetry, some rapping, some playing guitar, some playing the violin. Give it up with my boy, Tebe Zalango. Oh, yeah, y'all about to be in for a treat.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all know that now. So, and if we got to, really? Really? And if we got to, trust me, we may even kick a cypher after the show. So he gonna rock, do his thing. Y'all give it up.
How y'all doing?
You getting ready.
Yo, want to give praise and thanks to our uncreated creator for allowing everything to be everything, man.
Alright.
It's been a journey on this road. So I just wanted to let y'all know that the CD is $10.
Only $10?
That sounded like $80. Man.
That's on iTunes.
I gotta stop this chant like that. Because if I don't get $80 out, I'm gonna feel some kind of way.
By the way, I got that album. That album is absolute fire.
It's on iTunes.
Shit is fire.
It's really kind of dope. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of dope.
I mean, I got it. So
Man, so no kind of CD. Oh, and that's comes to my next thing. Why I put it in a Ziploc bag. Keep it fresh. Because it's dope. And I wanted y'all to know about that before you heard it.
Bars.
So I'm gonna give you an opportunity. I know some people don't have a lot of bread on them, so I'm gonna give an opportunity for you to win the CD right here. I got a riddle. And if you can answer the riddle, I give you the CD. Is that fair?
Yeah.
All right. The song is called, the piece is called I Met Her on a Spaceship. I just need you to tell me who I met. I remember when she landed on the planet. I was meditating and praying for understanding. When I started elevating in a levitating manner, only to awaken to a face with more glamour than any dream any man could imagine. A mystery attraction, yet the chemistry was magic. Geeked off of unique features, I was speechless, yet still speaking through telekinesis, no telling the reasons how fate chose me. She said I used to be a king back in BC. I said, who was on my team? She said, that would be me, but you lost ability through all the distractions. The material world got a lot of attractions. If you want to go forward, then you got to go backwards. But I'm going to wash off all the innocence you've lost. And she kissed me on the jaw and walked off. Man, I met her on a spaceship. Wow. I sat back. She told me to relax, then open up a map to show me where we at in deep contemplation of a far destination, gazing at a star constellation. Amazing. God's creation, omnipotent and infinite, witnessing His grace is magnificent, a gift within that sends chills to the pineal and opens up a seal on the mental field as it reveals potential unlimited. Yeah, the spirit's willing, yet the flesh is so ignorant. We take life for granted till our breath gets diminishing. A mission unfinished when a soul can't replenish from living in sin. We could never be whole, depending on men to mend a broken heart from lack of discipline. Listening, it's time for shifting away from our lower nature. Every day giving praise to our Creator. Yeah, I met her on a spaceship. Verse 3, we warp speed to another galaxy, and my mind is like, wow, this is how it could be. But she told me I couldn't stay. I had to bring back the light to show people the way. Now I'm back on the mic, hoping I'm speaking or play. In your speakers, on your system, hand this one to the DJ. Relay the message, this needs to be on replay. We missing all our blessings in the flesh, we don't see straight. Create a method to align with your higher nature. Every day give praise to our Creator. I said, create a method to align with your higher nature. Every day give praise to our Creator. You gotta incline your mind to climb and be greater. Incline your mind to climb and be greater. Create a method to align with your higher nature. Every day give praise to our Creator. Yeah, I met her on a spaceship. Alright, so any guesses?
Me.
Give it a CD. That's
I'm gonna take a stab at it. Poetry?
Nah, it's not poetry.
That's what I thought. Conscious.
Not conscious.
Mary Jane?
Nah, not Mary Jane.
We met on station.
Are you talking about the moon?
Nah, I ain't talking about the moon.
Mother Nature.
Nah, not Mother Nature.
The consciousness?
No, not Eve.
Oh, you said consciousness?
So y'all ain't got it. All right, it's cool. We're gonna keep it moving because I know I gotta.
Music?
Nah, it's not music. Nah, it's not music. But yo, we gotta keep this thing moving.
You got 3 more pieces to rock, so.
Yeah, I gotta keep this thing moving. And this is original piece, by the way. 360 degrees, I'm on my square. Knock you out of my circle if you ain't working your purpose. My life is like a circus, hopping through hoops in the air. And the roof be on fire, but them dogs don't care. And for that power, pastors preaching that loud, pushing that purple. Praying on the weak, fronting, praying like they meat feds. Raiding where they speak, finding cocaine in their churches. And their numbers is 80 long, but you too blind to find that purchase. Pigs riding all black, the streets flirting with murder. But we don't change the short circuit, ashamed of pain that keep us hurting. Politics, running game, claim they aiming at the core, but they never scratch the surface, so the poor remain poor. We can't change our condition, giving the enemy more energy, mixing Red Bull and Hennessy while it's lead in our kitchen sink. I'm reaching black to us, son. Let's take back our community. What up, love? What up, cuz? What up, love? What up, folk? It's strict in numbers if you want to get this thunder off our throat. It don't matter how you look, Trayvon, they have tats of gold. They make an excuse to attack you. They afraid of what that black do. Cause you can have your hands up or be handcuffed, they still clap you. I shouldn't have to ask who we chosen. Ancient mysteries, hidden histories, fist blistering, hitting the brick system never meant for me. No traditional medicinal dispensaries. Just these chemicals keep killing those seeking redemption. Please know that healing has a code. Next time you catch a cold, gonna catch healthy. The rich in choice are wealthy. The remedies of alkalinity bring serenity and divinity. Blemishes in your limits, dis-ease, strengthen your discipline. Inflammation makes mucus. Your immune system is useless if your solution is pollution. Cells get no retribution, like slaves get no reparations. No 40 acres and no mule, just amusement and abusement with new ways to be misused. Look, the brain is electrical, and you blew a few fuses. Elevation is geometrical, it affects your whole mood. But we inhaled and chemtrails with Fent Michigan and fake food while they fracking to fracture the earth with a bruise to extract gases. Don't ask about the oceans and atmosphere. The facts is clear, and you wonder why natural disasters always happen here. Attackers will continue until morale improves. So I'm smacking you with the truth, get more out of your roots. Teach the youth that Dr. Zabi was curing AIDS back in the 80s. Haters took him to court, he beat the case. No debating the patients that came forth that went from positive to negative. You hating on the truth, I spit what's real and you so negative. I'm through arguing with relatives that overdose on sedatives. The herbs will heal a nation. Revelation is what's relevant. The word pharmakia is a Greek word that means witchcraft in the Bible. So that's where you get pharmaceutical. So take this rhyme to your soul, from the farm to the studio. My name is Tebe Zalango, and I just thought you should know that
fancy cars and diamond rings, yeah. Fancy cars and diamond rings, yeah. Oh, fancy cars and diamond rings, giant cribs and shopping sprees. Yeah, that's cool, but that's not everything. To me, I'm not so material. Gain the world and lose my soul. I don't know much, but this I know. Without love, I'm nothing. Now.
see, love is like a breeze through the trees in the summertime. But when you blind like the shade that the windows are covered by, it's hard to recover when the panes are dark color and you can't discover the rays that would make Charles wonder if Stevie saw God in that ribbon in the sky. There's a rhythm in your soul concealed in your third eye, brings remedies to your woes and healing to your mind, revealing the deep feeling inside. See, ignorance is a weed that's pleasing to the eye. Devours all your flowers and keeps them from reaching high. And if you leave it in your garden, then it's hard to survive, because in life you either grow or you die. Enlightenment is limited. Primitive ideas are definitives of mind control to keep a soul low and sinister. I'm calling out these ministers. Wickedness don't sleep. Why should you? You got that staff. Watch the sheep. Wash your feet on this path that you're walking through. No honor in tarnished garments. Pay homage beyond the bondage. You're not loving yourself. See, wealth and good health comes from looking in the mirror with honesty and acceptance. A breath in, a breath out, the essence of God's reflection. Dear love, as I place this bulb in your womb, I pray it shines through the darkness when it starts to blossom and bloom, and overcomes the obstacles of those who pose to be true, and through the blues of muddy waters with the soul to keep rolling through to be the king in tune with the strings of destiny, savor the flavors of life and get praises for all the recipes. Reciprocity is a necessity to express success properly. In this monopoly, cops will arrest and protect that property. Your velocities, integrities measured when no one's watching. The lessons of life are tested, observing uncertain options. I'm urging others to wake up. It's urgent. This masquerade is taking us to a place that's blocking our oculars, and binoculars can't save our vision. What's the logic of topics to speak and raising children? Because a lot of these record labels is buying prisons and paying artists to press a message to promote that business. Man, it's sickness, and healing is in the action of love. That's ahab, to have faith, or imuna, to focus on things above. All right. The name of this piece is called Crystal River, all right? And when I say Crystal River, I'm talking about your bloodstream. My people suffer from lack of knowledge. How long will mothers cry from genocide? Let's teach our children to be wise, for the beast seeks to deceive them to claim their mind. See, this is a battle, it's a battle, y'all. Now, battle of our mind. See, and the champion rules your line. Yeah. So arm yourself in the armor of the Most High. Gain protection and wisdom. It's metaphysical principles they don't want you to know, so they attack your crystal river, they don't want you to glow, but shackles on your mental to prevent you to show that influential true potential that exists in your soul. So they smack you with their vaccines, turn their kids to crack fiends, methamphetamine, methamphetamine, same thing. Implement the innocent with ignorance, deprive them of their benefits of human rights to prove what life really is. Divided by united snakes with no morals, riding the rocky road, the heart breaks with no roller. They keep raising the quota, not raising the quota. That's creating a motive for baking with soda. All it takes an empty plate with no cake to fold up. If you wanna make a soldier, grind like Folgers. Running on a fast break, pushing weight to blow up. But end up in the state, pushing place to swole up, hold up. It's like the majority of minorities' priorities are based toward the glory of those who reign off the pain of the poor. Cause when it rains, it pours if you're chained to the floor. And you can't aim the sword when you're sore in your core. So keep your sword accord. Be a cord to the source to record the right vibe. Stay whole with the one. Cause on this course of 9, I ain't leave some folks on the run. And talking course, I put some holes in your lung. I can't ignore this reality. Fatality's not fiction when the clip's in. Full of ammunition by someone with no ambition. Stuck in these rough conditions. Trusting this crooked system. Brought up in tradition. Spitting nothing off your lips, man. Shut up and listen. All that glistens isn't gold. If your mission's flipping O's, who holds the keys to your ignition? See, you're missing the narrow road. If all that your barrel holds unloads on those who hold similar foes as you, we can't spiritually grow if our material goals outweigh the right way. Don't shade the right way. Is it me? But it's ironic. These antibiotics causes chaotic symptoms in your body. They suppress your stress, but they don't heal for real. So while you popping the pill, you still ill. And it's unhospitable. These hospitals belittle you. Feed your people's riddles and your conditions is critical. Man, Lord knows there's no love with their intentions here. Man, they pump fake blood and they intensive care. My advice to you is fuel your immune system. Your immune system is used to remove sickness. So they attack the food and what you see on the market, just feed all of the garbage on the back of a carton. Cause they know you ain't thinking about harm when you starving. That's the object. Keep the poor target for harvest. So you gotta watch all that you put in your mouth. They got sex hormones and steroids in your cow. Got your 12-year-old daughter turn a girl going wild. She got the body of a woman and you wondering how. She pregnant at 13, another town has a child. And right now, the media is feeding her child. Cause now, being a female dog is in style. Wow. Tell me how, y'all. Sodom and Gomorrah, 2017. So many people ignore the scriptures, they don't want to read. Like First Romans chapter 1, 18 through 32. Read. Bugs Bunny on TV. What he doing on TV? Cross-dressing and kissing men on TV in front of our children. And SpongeBob ain't easy. Where he at? At the bottom of a bikini, but y'all don't see. And does anybody know who SpongeBob works for?
Krusty Krab.
He works for the Krusty Krab at the bottom of a bikini, y'all. Subliminal messages, subliminal messages, subliminal messages. Tell me why most black actors I respect can't see success until he put on that dress. It's a mess, but I tell you why it's all popping off, because see, this is a battle, it's a battle, y'all. Battle of our mind. See, I'm the champion, rules your life, yeah. So arm yourself in the armor of the Most High. Gain protection and wisdom. Let truth be your guide. My name is Tebe, Zalango. I appreciate y'all time. Got TVs on deck for the team. If you can't copyright here, I'm on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, and for a limited time, I'm taking credit cards tonight because the battery on my phone is kind of low. So just if you're trying to cop something, let me know what's going on. Otherwise, I got cards. Please pick up one of those. Put my name in any search engine. I'm real Googleable out here in these streets. So just please take advantage of that. Thank y'all for your time. It's a pleasure to be down here in Orlando, Florida, all the way from Decatur, Illinois. Peace and love, y'all.
Gotta give it up again for Tebe Zalango. y'all before y'all left. My bad. Y'all still with me? Y'all rocking? All right, listen, we got about 30 minutes to kill before we got to be out of here. Well, not before we got to get out of here, we just got to end the show. Y'all can still stay until like 10, that's when they close, but, you know, let's just have some fun. We're going to call up a couple of newbies. Then we're going to let my man Hannibal rock, who's going to feature sometime soon, very, very soon. Going to be my first non-poetry feature. So Brothers Block? Who's that? Brothers Block? Who's that? Brothers Block? Who's that? Let me get my man Arjun to come out and come ride. Y'all give it up for him, y'all.
What's up, y'all? Hey. I'm doing good. So, there's no secret. I'm in fact Indian.
What?
No way. Right? Plot twist.
Dude, what?
Yeah, you couldn't believe it. I'm an Indian-born, American-born Indian, 2 Indian parents who migrated here. A lot of that is a lot of my identity, and a lot of my growing up has been caught between 2 identities. For my Indian side, for the Indian side, I'm too American. For the American side, I'm too Indian. Never knowing which side to take. So, especially with current people in power, certain Cheetos up in the powers that be, that's gotten a bit bad again. I've learned to deal with it over the course of growing up, but that's kind of gotten bad again. And some, put it this way, harassment I've been getting since has inspired this piece I'm about to share with y'all.
All right, let's get it.
All right. Get him. Smoke.
Actually, you know what? I don't need this. I've got yellow stains on my ID. No amount of bleach could ever reach those blemishes born of turmeric and chili whose heat ignites that fire in my belly. It's lit, covered in red, white, and blue flames as lames choke on the syllables and spit out my name. Their tongues can't taste it. Flavor so rich that palates can't handle it. Stepping in my sandals would give insight of getting your eyes dotted with red laser sights. Nights are long and full of terror, so whether it's fight or flight, I burn my sandalwood to escape the incense on clouds of fragrance and see from new heights. That third eye vision flies by division. My 8th light's gonna shine bright tonight. I've got yellow stains on my ID. No amount of sugar could ever cover up the bitterness built up through years growing up, being told what I can and can't do. Be canned food, labeled with uniform and blandness. I can't stand this. Voice in my ears demanding I stand in shoes my feet ain't fitting in. As the venom in their words be sinking in, my skin needs thickening. I want to curl up and hide when that poison inside starts to cloud up my optics, but then a new thought clicks. Clean my amidala with that garam masala. Follow my own model, to hell with obedience. And meeting their standards, excuse my expedience. To hell with the recipe, I've got my own ingredients. I've never been a part of no clique. I never needed it. I've got yellow stains on my ID.
Let's get it.
Yo, give it for Arjun. Yo, man. Before I forget, it's a long way from Orlando to Decatur, Illinois. Come bless this man with some money.
I mean, you know, Upgrade got a fancy little.
All right.
We upgraded big from last week. That's the Publix bag.
You know what really happened? I lost my box.
Thank God.
Speaking of the Lord, I'm living in increase. I'm living. Yeah. I trust you, Lord. I don't know the rest of the words of this song. Hope my girl KJ don't kill me. Yeah, we used to sing this all the time, praise it, when we were doing the collection.
All right.
So God bless you. God bless you. All people who go to church, who? Yes, Lord Jesus, have mercy. You want to sing that? Okay. We're going to have a little bit of time. Y'all pass the money. Let the Lord be blessed. Pass it that way. Yeah. Give him a little bit of money. Give him some gas money. Go all the way back to Decatur. And buy his, hey, this does not mean this counts for buying his CD. This is some extra. Yeah, cause you know how some brother would be like Chris Rock on the Living Color. Good Lord, that's a lot of money. How about I give you 4 George Washingtons and call you back later? No. Did anybody think of a topic for the gumbo poem?
Police.
Freedom, police.
All right, real quick. We got a little bit of time. Gumbo poem is this. We pick a topic, and everybody participates by writing one line. One line, okay? I repeat, one line. One line. Hey, some people OD. I swear, one time he only had about 20 people in here and had about 75 lines. So I don't know how that happened, but yeah, it was really a relationship piece.
Was it me?
And somehow we always end up on a specific subject that, yeah.
When do we start to go?
Yeah, when do we start though? Where's my thing?
You gotta have a relationship to talk about it. So.
Somebody got some paper. I done left my
Room full of poets. You know someone got
room full of poets, yeah.
Someone got paper.
So we are topic police. What else? Freedom. Freedom. How about we do freedom? Freedom.
I like freedom.
All right, we like freedom. Who wants to start? Let's start with the table right up here.
You got a pen? You got a pen? Here.
You got the pen right there. All right. Y'all ready for the next artist? Who wants to say yeah? All right. Got the newbies in the building. Newbies running this. Welcome to new family members. So we inspired this young lady to come and do something. Where's she at?
Oh yeah.
Is she right there? Is she hiding behind Johnson? Is she hiding behind Johnson? What? Hold on, Molly. Bring her properly. Hold on. So Riders Block? Riders Block? Riders Block? Y'all give it up for Miss L. Miss L. Please love my mom. You all right? All right, let me get the mic for you. She talked like she don't do this.
I didn't know she was excellent.
Yeah, we got to welcome you to the practice. All right. Do the thing.
Peace and love, y'all.
Hey,
how y'all doing?
We good.
Again, I go by the name of Miss L or Miscellaneous. Also part of Fire Fusion. Right,
Yeah.
so I wasn't even expecting to do anything, but I think I'm gonna do this.
We're gonna do that.
Look around, tell me what you see. Is this the way life's supposed to be? Can we be mentally, physically, spiritually free? Now see, we've been fed lies, and steady messing with them. Devils in disguise, despise all they wicked ways displayed in the light. They ain't living right, yet we seem to catch flight on they same mental sight, getting blinded from the ways of who and what we are. Gotta go back far to the eye and see our true divinity. I and I divinity, you be the truth. Now teach the youths, show and prove. Do what you gotta do and recognize your enemies from your friends. Don't be a victim to the shitstorm. Know yourself and know them. Yo, do you know what you're fighting for? Seems there's no love no more. Do you know what you're fighting for? There's rumors and rumors of war. Do you know what you're fighting for? Seems there's no love no more. Do you know what you're fighting for? There's rumors and rumors of war. Say there's rumors and rumors of war. There's rumors and rumors of war. There's rumors and rumors and rumors and rumors and rumors and rumors of war. See, there's a war in all the ghetto, war in all the streets, war. See, there's a war in all the minds, war. We have to trample the beats. See, there's a war in all the ghetto, war. See, there's a war in all the streets, war. See, there's a war in all the minds, war. We have to trample the beats. Now do you know what you're fighting for? Seems there's no love no more. Do you know what you're fighting for? There's rumors and rumors of war. There's rumors and rumors of war. See, there's rumors and rumors of war. Rumors and rumors of war. There's rumors and rumors of war. Rumors of war.
Respect, Zalango. Yeah, I heard a little bit of island twang in you guys. Yeah, I can't hide from the yard, you know. I'm sorry, that's where my little Virgin Island accent come out a little bit. So all my island people in the building.
You know. Ain't nobody represent you.
I got no.
You can always tell us island people, you know.
This one we get it too.
I know, man. As soon as you do something wrong, what is somebody do something wrong? Where am I? What's up with? What's wrong with the fire? All right, y'all having fun?
Yeah.
Y'all good? Yeah. All right, is there anybody that want to get on that did not sign the list tonight? If not, you'll have to wait for the cycle. Where the gumbo poem at while I'm at it? All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna switch gears just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right? So we're gonna get into some comedy right now. All right? So let me give my man some time to get up. He's gonna do his thing, give you a little bit of set before, hold on, before you're right, my brother. You know, we're gonna give you a little bit of a sample before he come up for a speech that we trying to set up for him. You know what I'm saying? Give you a little sample or a little bit of a laugh, you know what I'm saying? I know, I can't laugh on you. I can't laugh on you like that. That sounded real whack, didn't it? Anyway, Riders Block! Riders Block! Riders Block! Y'all welcome for a future comedy feature, Mr. Hannibal Kelly! Everybody always looks forward to that part of this.
Dude, it feels so cool, man. I think I was out here the first time people started saying like shame when they saw me, and I'm like, man, that's so cool. But it kind of looks weird to people who don't know it's a thing I do. When like, I walk into a room and everyone goes, ha ha, shame him. And my mama was like, boy, what did you do? We just got in here. So you know, I have to explain it, and I always get around to it. But man, this is like my favorite thing to do, getting to come out and do comedy, man. I like, you know, because I just recently graduated from college. I just graduated from Valencia, and I'm really happy because now I get to be part of the esteemed group of the 7 people who are proud to be from Valencia. You know, I'm so happy that I get to be like, hey man, I'm a matador. Nobody even knows that that's our mascot because we don't have like a team or nothing. And like, I found it out because I got bored and was Googling. And I said, oh hey, I thought it was that diamond that's on everything. And I'm like, that wouldn't look cool in a mascot costume. So we have one. It's the Matador. And like my graduation was lackluster. You know, like, because most graduations, people are hooping and hollering the whole time, and this was the most well-behaved graduation ceremony I've ever been to. And I was pissed. I was like, it got so bad that they're calling people up, and some people would get a, ooh, yay, okay. And some people would get,
that's not bad.
Straight silence. I was turning to the people around me going, guys, come on! We went to school with him! I started getting up and being people's grandma, phoning him. Yes! That's my baby up here! That's my boy up here!
like, the most interesting thing that happened in the whole graduation was that one girl, she went up there, she won an award, so she did a speech. She got, I believe it's called the Esteemed Graduate Award, which, long story short, she got the Started From the Bottom, Now You Here Award. And in her speech, she said that she was from a country in the Middle East where they don't respect women, and so it was expected that she was going to get married, have babies, and that was it. And so the fact that she's graduated that day was amazing. Everyone was like really excited, they were cheering, but then some guy in the audience goes, "What country are you from? Huh? What country?" And everybody started like booing this guy and shouting, and the security came and took the dude out. Now, in Homeboy's defense, she never did say what country. All she said was she was from the Middle East. That'd be like someone going, "Yeah, man, I'm from Africa. Africa's got over 50 nations in it. You gotta pick one." But in her defense, that wasn't the time for the dude to say it. That wasn't the time for him to try to make it about himself and do any of that. That wasn't the crazy part. The crazy part was that afterwards. Now, I knew that the guy who said that must have been Middle Eastern, because outside they had security guards with AR-15s. I was like, that's a real assault rifle, and these guys are hanging around outside the UCF arena. I'm more afraid of you than I am of him. At least he used his words. It was crazy. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, in my graduation, I survived what could be considered a terrorist attack. At least that's what my dad calls it when he's telling my grandma about it. I was driving around with some of my buddies, and we were stopping at a red light, and a cop car pulls up next to us. And now, I'm the only black guy in the car. So, of course, looking at how everybody else is going, me, I'm going, leaning in this backseat, trying not to be seen. And then one of my buddies goes, "Oh, God, I hate cops. I hate cops." Now, what makes this crazy is that this is the wealthiest of all of my friends. This guy, and so I asked him, I was like, "Dude, why do you hate cops? Do you realize that they're like the only reason that the poor don't flip this whole system upside down?" Well, that and the poor can't afford the bus fare to get all in one place, so. But other than that, man, they're the only people that got you back. I mean, this guy is so wealthy, they couldn't put him away if he committed a crime. If he beat up my grandma, he could come into the courtroom pleading guilty, and they would still take him to Burger King on his way home. And so, as we're driving, he goes, "Ooh, you know what, guys? The light's about to turn green. On the count of 3, we flip this cop off, and we go driving. You guys want to do it?" They were like, yeah, no! I'm like, "Do you guys realize I'm the one he's going to get? He'll pull the car over, walk around the my door, and go, 'Boy, get on out this car now.'" And I'm like, "Honestly, officer, I didn't do it. I think that your work is great. I think there's some changes you can make. But that's not for me to say. I'm the one who's going to get maced in my face if y'all do this." Of course, nobody listens to the black guy, and they speed up going, "Screw the police," and driving off into the sunset, smiles on their faces. I'm trying to roll out the car and be like, "I'm with you, dude. I don't like them. I know they are. They kidnapped me." I think the one thing scarier than being stuck in your car with the police was that the other night, a friend of mine, I drove her home, and so she said, "Hannibal, there's a spider in your car." I said, "No, he's on the outside." Is it an inside? No, he's outside. Inside? He's outside. Only after I drop her off, I'm going 75 on 408. It is 10:45 at night. Does he decide to go, "Hey, what's good, player?" Hanging out on my driveway, on my steering wheel. And so now he and I are locked in a heated battle. I'm trying to smash him with a napkin, he keep dodging. I hit him, he leave. I try to hit him, he dodge. And I knew he was playing with me, because eventually he started going, "Hey, ooh, kill him, but you can't." And so it just got so bad that the next morning, I knew he was gone. But he just left a spider web going from my passenger door all the way up to the driver's side door. So he was like, yeah, you gonna remember me. And so now I just take the bus.
You can have a car.
Man, hey, look, he can have the car. He was slick, he earned it. So, who here's ever seen the movie Beast of No Nation? Cool! You ain't have to get this part. There's a part in the movie where these little kids are in class, and the movie takes place in Africa. And so the teacher asks these little boys, where does the lion live? Now the little boys don't know the answer, so they say the zoo. The teacher says, shame them! Everybody in class stops what they're doing. They turn to that little boy, and they say, shame! And get back to their schoolwork. That's what we're going to do here tonight. As a family, or a group of really, really sexy strangers. I'm going to name a particular group of people or way of thought that's earned some shame. I'll play this bad boy. I'll say, shame them! You reply with? Shame! And we move on with the night. Here's one of my best examples. To that guy who is driving way too fast for you to get ahead of him.
Oh, Lord, yes.
But way too slow for you to get behind him. And I just missed my turn to get to work on time. Shame him. Shame. All right, y'all get it? We'll do a couple more, and we'll move on with the night. To the people who see the effeminization of men, particularly from my own experience, the effeminization of black men as the biggest issue hurting us right now. Oh, Lord. Now look, I understand where that comes from, but to me, I'm much more worried about the fact that there are black brothers and sisters being alienated from their homes and communities, and we won't take them back.
All right.
And then they go out here and get murdered in these streets. See, I'm more worried about us keeping each other alive than how we live it and how we dress.
Ooh, rewind.
See, I'm more worried about keeping each other alive than how we act and how we dress. So to the people who see that as our biggest pressing issue, shame them. Shame. To the people who always go around saying, all cops are bad and I hate cops because they got it from a rap song. Buddy, they couldn't put you away. You got too much money. And we needed you to understand the problems here. There's a real issue and a real reason people have beef with that system. Understand that before you go shouting it out and making it look illegitimate. Shame them. Shame. And to all those that we could not shame because I've had it, I'm getting my car back from that spider. Shame them. Shame. Thank you guys. I'm planning on featuring here real soon. And man, Brian's been so good to me about it too. I can't wait. You can follow me on Instagram at Hannibal_His Majesty. And I have a Facebook and a website, which is HannibalC.com. Please check it out and let me know what you think. Peace.
How we doing with the gumbo pump? Who got the gumbo pump?
Never.
All right, listen, we got one more artist. Can y'all stay for one more artist? One more artist, and then we gotta do a group photo. Yeah, we're gonna do our group photo afterwards.
I have a friend who watches my 600-pound life.
Just gotta make sure. It's a beautiful sign. Just gotta make sure we show that.
I love the swirl at the bottom.
Love the swirl at the bottom?
Yes.
We good on that?
Who did that?
I wonder who wrote that.
I wonder who wrote
What?
that. She got skills.
What? Why you sound like Randy Tank from Brown Sugar? What's up, girl? I don't know. I don't know, man.
Hip-hop Dalmatians done, son. We can do a group done.
No, I'm saying that, son.
Just got signed up.
We got something to do, son.
movie night?
Might as well, yeah, you do that. You know, shuns, man, shuns. Shuns, man. All right, you know we have a ball here. Calling the last artist of the evening. Hold on, where's my buddy? Okay, I just want to make sure. Are we still doing the gumbo poem right there? All right, we good. We're about to end on time. Look at that. God is good. And held off the rain for me. Thank you, Jesus. Won't he do it? Won't he? Hold up for the last. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the last artist of the evening?
I sure.
Are you ready for the last artist of the evening?
Yeah.
All right. So Riders Block. Who's next? Riders Block. Who's next? Riders Block. Who's next? We're going to end the night on some estrogen energy and give it up for Tierney, the lyrical minister, coming to play this out for the evening.
That goes good.
I'm gonna take y'all to church tonight.
All right.
What happened,
You know, I'm from Georgia, down south. Y'all know y'all hear it in my voice.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, I need you to help me. Oh, Lord, I need you to help me. Help me on my journey. Help me on my way. Oh, Lord, I need you to help me. We no longer hang on trees like strange fruit, but we hang from the tips of silver bullets, streaming live from steel guns that are held by black hands and white hands and blue hands. We no longer hang on trees, but we hang on the ills of injustice that are held by the Holocaust of our minds, and the world is blind. We no longer hang on trees, but we hang on the illicit lyrics that flow off of the beats of those ill-mannered, ill-minded tongues that flow and they call it hip-hop. We no longer hang on trees, y'all, but we hang on the jagged edges of our illusion of beauty, dangling from the augmented curves of our enlarged behinds and our long bundles of hair that don't even belong to us. And hair weaves is a new day gold rush, and it's robbing us of our true God nature. It's like a royal priesthood eraser, straight with no chaser. And the lights of the gods and goddesses have grown dim, and now we hang from plunging necklines and super high hems. We hang from the belt loops of those sagging breeches. We hang from the words niggas, hoes, tots, and bitches. Oh Lord, how we hang. Oh Lord, I need you to help me. Oh Lord, I need you to help me. Help me on my journey. Help me on my way. Oh Lord, I need you to help me. See, I reach up high in the sky and try to praise somewhere up in the sky, not knowing that the sky and the sunlight and the universe is within, not knowing that I am the goddess and I am the one that gives the room for my atmosphere to bloom, because all I do is speak positive words and speak words of power to shower in this mind of mine, because sometimes this mind of mine causes the third eye to be blind, and then I walk blindfolded, not knowing that all the gold is inside of me, because I am the treasure that holds it in my chest. And what's best is that I never rest, because I must caress these words out of my heart and my soul, because it came from the one up above, or is it the one within? So we must know that our gifts are not for us, but our gifts are for pouring out to the souls of this world, because we have our little boys and our little girls crying and dying on this earth. They're not knowing their worth because they can't see the examples. All we are is little samples of God. And we must know that we are here to give and we are here to share. Nothing is of our own. So to you poets, you singers, you poets, you writers, you artists, all of you that do those things, those groovy things that make your heart sing, we must overcome with our gifts and let this world become shift in the atmosphere. And we must bring the stars down below on the ground, because we must cover the earth with water and water the ground and fertile the seeds in the seeds, because it is the seeds that grow in the earth. It is the seeds that give us life. And we must know that we are the universe within. So, oh Lord, I need you to help me. Peace.
All right.
Amen. Lord. Ain't it funny how when you go to church on something, all of a sudden the whole mood just changed? just with the church. Felt like singing that thing. Y'all seen the movie Glory?
Yeah.
Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman. Like the only movie that I've ever seen them in together. Yeah. It really is. It really, I think it is. Yeah, it reminds me of that scene of, oh my Lord. If I could sing right now, my voice would crack. Y'all catch that? Y'all good. Thank you for not catching that. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Maybe next time. Maybe. We're gonna get you a man someday.
Right? I got one. He's on the mind. Already found one.
I'm sorry, that's how long man too. We do this all show long, every show. Every show she's at, we do this all day long. You need a woman, you need a girl, you need a man, I need a woman. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
No, that ain't gonna work. No.
I need a woman too. Can I get on the help list?
Hey, we supposed to be getting together doing a little something.
Yeah.
Real quick while we closing out the show. Stacy and I had a discussion.
We did?
A few days ago. Is it okay for friends to cuddle?
Of course.
Wait, who said
And the show has officially.
If I'm cuddling, we a little more than friends.
Hold on. We gonna do the gumbo poem, but the show is done, and then we gonna continue this discussion.
Friends can cuddle.
Friends cannot cuddle. I'm sorry. No, that is no.
If it's cold. Maybe
If somebody in your family died, maybe. You need a woo moment? Yeah.
Whenever Chanti's around from now on, I'm just gonna agree with him. Because Chanti be good.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta take that case by case.
Case by case? Okay. Why am I still leaving it there like the mic? Yeah. Can we get a group photo? Can we get a group photo?
Where's Gumbo Phone?
They got it in the back right there. Yeah, we're gonna do it afterwards. They got the gumbo pole in the back. Why am I still throwing this thing like that?
I got a snap that. Hold up.
Where did he go?
Now I want to see glory.
Real quick while I'm at it, did y'all have fun tonight? Y'all do me a favor? And come back next week? Yeah, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You got the gumbo poem?
I'm bringing it up. I'm not gonna read it. I can't read.
I don't think they ain't have a chance to write it yet over there. You don't have a chance to write it?
No.